Right now, your trade business is up here at the lookout. You can see everybody down there online, but they can't see you. Oi, come back over here. Today's training is all about capturing that attention, getting those eyeballs from down there onto your brand and building a legacy brand. And it's easy to say, well, let's go create some content, but without the right frameworks, you could have a very hard time. So what we're going to do is plan out exactly how to create the content that you need to grab attention and to turn it into requests for quotes. Let's take a look. But before we blindly go and make a bunch of content and attract a lot of attention, we really need to understand why. What's the purpose of what we're doing? And it comes down to our economic engine and the 3 Ps of scaling. You're following us because you want to build a 500K per month trade business. And there's a 3 Ps to it. There's pipeline, people, and profit. Today, we're acknowledging that we're going to focus on pipeline and not worry about profit and people because those trainings are to come. Now, what do we do with this understanding of the 3 Ps? When it comes to pipeline, there's marketing and sales. And today, we're thinking about marketing. This is about capturing attention, not necessarily converting that attention. And again, that's a training for another day. So let's narrow our focus down into our marketing department, putting our pipeline hat on, and focus on how do we grab enough attention to build a 500K per month lifestyle empire. Where do we go from here then? Where do we put our energy in order to grab that attention? Because there's a whole heap of places that we could be seen and that we could essentially grab leads from. And if we think about what is the overarching or the one single action that we want to happen from all of this, and it's to get requests for quotes. We can get cost per lead and cost per click and views and all of these other vanity metrics. But the main thing that we want to get once all of our marketing efforts is done is a request for quote. That is the ultimate outcome. So what we're going to do here today is structure some ways that we can put content together and we can create more awareness, and we're going to justify what platform we're going to use so that we can get the most leverage and the most attention and turn those into the most requests for quotes. So let's take a look at a concept called brand web. When we think about the World Wide Web and the cloud and the ether and everything that is out there in the world, there are many places that we can grab attention from. There's our website, there's Google My Business, there's YouTube, there's LinkedIn, there's Seek, and there's also Instagram. All of these can drive attention towards our business. However, we can see that there's different sizings in the circle here of these brand webs. We can see that we only get a tiny amount of attention from Seek if we're going out and recruiting, or Indeed and the other recruiting platforms. There's only a very small amount of attention that comes in from LinkedIn. There's even smaller attention that comes in from YouTube for us, for trade businesses. There's a little bit more that comes from Google My Business, and then maybe a touch more that comes to our website. But the vast majority of attention gets driven towards our brand through Instagram. This is where we should be putting our focus first so that we can own one channel, so that we can dominate that space, and it's a hell of a lot easier than doing the other ones. So when we think about brand web, we can grab attention from anywhere. However, we're going to give ourselves permission to focus on the highest and best use area or the easiest area to grab attention. So today is about Instagram. This is about how we're going to make content as easy as possible, and it's content that converts, and it's content that converts into requests for quotes. So let's take a look at how we structure our content. When it comes to structuring content, there's 2 ways you can do it. You can have a systemized approach, or you can fuck around and figure out. Today, we're going to use a systemized approach. We call this the 3HP or the 3H pillars. These are our 3 pillars of content, and they're our head, our heart, and our hands. I want to tell you a little bit of a story. Once upon a time, let's say 4 or 5 years ago, when content started to become more important for our trade businesses, we had content creators that were focusing on the hands, focusing on our finished products, and this saw the rise of the project showcase. We've all seen the video of, "Hi, I'm Sam and welcome to our project, come check it out." Everybody's done one of those videos, and they have their place. The only problem that we have here is that focusing on just the hands ends up with a brand that doesn't have a face, it doesn't have emotion, and it's very clinical. We just show the finished product. So in order to create a more intriguing, more interesting, and more heartfelt legacy brand, we have to bring in the head and the heart. And let's start at the top here. The head is about you. This is about the man or woman behind the brand, but it's more about positioning you as the key person of influence, as the industry leader. People buy from people these days, and we want to see the head of the brand. We want to know, who is the person behind this? Why should I like them? Why should I follow them? And why should I essentially give them my money in future? So we're thinking about positioning ourselves as the head of the business. And we also want to show the heart of the business. These are the people within the company, because it's all well and good to get our requests for quotes, but as soon as we get those quotes in, as soon as we start converting those quotes, we're going to have a fundamental people problem. So to rectify or to reduce the amount of damage we will make from doing such a bloody good job of content is we're going to add the heart in. We're going to begin to show the people what it's like to work with us on site and what it's like to be a part of our team. There's two pieces there. It's not only going to show that we have real people and that we have a sizable team, but it's also going to help us for our recruiting efforts in future. So if we think about this, our head positioning you as the key person of influence, our heart showing the people within our team, and we get to flex what it's like to work with us. And then we get our hands, our finished product. This is showing the quality of our work and the skills that we have. The three together, overlapped in the center here, give us our legacy brand. Let's think about now turning these into actual content. Now I want to introduce you to a little concept called containers. These are our content containers. The best example I've got of this is, you've probably seen some of those people doing the videos of them driving in the front seat, you know, the drive and talk scenario. You've also probably seen some of those project showcases that we spoke about earlier. Each of those fundamentally are a content container. And a content container is where we establish, or we think about, where we are actually going to shoot some of our content. When we think about these at a really top level, we could go, I could shoot some content in my car, I could shoot some content in my office, I could shoot some content in my warehouse, and I could shoot some content on site. But why do we need to think about this? You and I both know that when we start creating content, or when we even book in a shoot, our brain turns to mush. And then when the camera comes out, we fucking forget how to talk English. It just disappears. So if we can understand not only our head, heart, and hands of what we want to talk about, but then where are those content containers going to take place, we can become more comfortable in those content containers, and it makes less decisions for us. So what are those content containers, and how can we make them work for us? If we think about breaking these up into three sections, we've got our head, our heart, and our hands. And we could think about maybe 1, 2, and 3 different containers for each of our head, our heart, and our hands. Let's rule these through and put a couple examples together. For you, positioning yourself as a key person of influence within the company, we could probably do some head stuff in the office. We could also do some head stuff from the car, and maybe, just maybe, we could do some of this either in the workshop or on site. And we're going to see some overlaps here, and that's totally fine. When we think about our heart, how are we going to show the people within our team the culture that we have, the energy that we have, and the kinds of people that we employ? I think that's a really important piece here, because we're the kind of guys that want to have a strong culture within our company, and we have a specific style of culture. It's most likely going to be fit and active guys. They're going to be reasonably young. If you're anything like me, I like working with other fathers as well. We're probably not going to have people with no teeth and ripped trackies on site. So if we think about the heart, where are we going to show our heart? And we're thinking about a content container. We are absolutely going to show the guys on site. We would probably want to show the guys around the vehicles, trailers or plant, and if we've got excavators and diggers, we could absolutely shoot some of our content around there. And then where else? I reckon the third container for our heart could be somewhere around the warehouse. We've now structured some content ideas or some pillars, and we're bringing them into content containers so that we know what themes we want to shoot and then where we want to shoot them. And what about our hands for our finished projects? We could do on site, we could probably do on site, and we could probably do not on site. We could do something to do with our suppliers. We could also showcase some of the products that we use. You thought I was going to say site 3 times, didn't you? That would be easy cop out. Okay, we've got our 3 Ps. We've got our containers. How do we now turn this into an actual piece of content? Because if we do what we said before, and we rock up to site and we've got the videographer or we've got our partner with our iPhone, we're going to turn to mush as soon as that lens comes out. And we want to make sure that we can structure this in such a way that we know exactly what we want to shoot. We've got a good idea of what we want to say and we know where we're going to do it. Now, this is not about ChatGPTing the perfect script. This is about getting a format in place for you to be able to talk the way you need to talk and not just read off of a script. So let's have a look at creating a banger. This is my favorite part about today's training, because we get to take the concepts that we've worked through and put them together in a framework that you can take away today. It's called the banger recipe, and it goes exactly like this. We've got a few different areas that we can pick and pull our information from. So let's take a look at how it works. You're sitting at your desk or you're driving and you have these ideas about content. We're going to note down what that idea is. It could be, I'm going to talk about the project that we've just done or the project that's coming up. And you think, okay, cool, now I have an idea jotted down, but where am I actually going to shoot this? And we have pre-filled containers that we've picked from our content containers up here, and you can simply go, I'm going to do a project showcase and I'm going to shoot that in the site container. Then we jump over to the next layer. How are we going to start talking about this? What's going to be the opening line? And you can jot down 3 variations of the hook. This helps you understand and identify exactly what we're going to shoot, where we're going to shoot, and how I'm going to start saying it. Because just like we've said a couple of times, when that camera comes out, we forget how to speak English, and we want to make sure that when we get to site, we know exactly what we're going to say. Now, this is where we can get a little bit more creative with it. We are going to note down the body, and this is the dot points of the message that we want to get across, or the key points that we want to say. There could be a couple, or there could be several, but nonetheless, we have some things that we want to say about the project or about the video that we really need to get across. They're the key points. We're going to note those down here in the body. Then you're looking at this final box here of the payoff or the outcome. The last piece that we need to think about is, how are we going to end this piece of content? What is the purpose of it, or what's the payoff for the person that has watched it? Do they need to send us a message? Do they need to follow for more? Do they need to comment? Do they need to give us their opinion? Or if we are turning this into an ad, do they need to click the link? This is a really important piece for us to tie a knot in the entire piece of content that we've produced, because unfortunately, people these days are a bit stupid and you have to tell them exactly what you want them to do. So if we have a look at this banger recipe, you're sitting in front of your desk, you have an awesome idea, you jot down the idea, you tick what container you're going to shoot that piece in, and you probably have that hook in mind. You jot down that first hook. Then you put that on your desk and you continue about your day. When you get a day before you're shooting content, or the day before you've scheduled to book in for that shoot, you grab all of your banger recipes, you lay them out in front of you, and you start to fill out the rest of the body and the outcome. This is how we put a banger together, and I went so far as to create pads that I can tear away and I can put into my cargo shorts so that I can take them on set with me. And to show you exactly how this works, this is today's banger recipe. I put the lookout, which we have here. It's a YouTube. I've jotted down the hooks, and I had a little bit of extra space to go through the key points that I wanted to talk about. I use the banger recipes, and you should too. If you like this, drop us a comment below and let us know so that we can keep doing more. All right, today we've put some effort into how we're going to capture awareness. We're going to need to then convert that attention or that awareness into requests for quotes, which we've done with that call out or payoff. This is all driving us towards creating enough attention and awareness in the marketplace so that we can convert it, so that we can turn it into work, so that we can deliver the work, so that we can then drive it into profitability, and we can decide whether we want to reinvest that profitability in the business or in our lifestyle empire, making our life a little bit sweeter. So if you like this, it's just one small piece of a much larger web of the things that we teach with guys in the boardroom. If you want to go from 100K per month to 500K per month, even more, this is the kind of stuff that we do. So if you like this and want more free training, subscribe to our channel. And if you want a more personalized approach, click the link in the show notes and you can book a call with one of our coaches.